Hey, welcome to the Archery Outdoorsman podcast. This is episode 6, I believe it is. Had a really good episode with Nancy Manning from @Nancy_empowers. It's Nancy Empowers from Instagram. She does a whole bunch of motivational stuff. She's got like all kinds of different things that she does. Just a phenomenal person. I've been friends with her for a really long time now, and so she read my book and she wanted to interview me. So we did a live interview at REI, and it turned out really, really good. Audio quality isn't perfect because I'm a dumbass and forgot to turn on phantom power to our microphones, but luckily we had the lavalier mics, but they caught a bunch of background, and I tried to fix as much as I could, so hopefully you can bear with it. I promise one of these days I'm going to get this audio right. So I really hope you enjoy this, and give Nancy a follow on Instagram. It's @Nancy_empowers, and we had something really exciting that came out of this. I can't announce it right now. Hopefully it works out as things progress. I'll definitely keep everybody in the loop. So enjoy the podcast, and make sure you leave a 5-star review. Even if you don't like it, shoot me a message or something like that. Aaron at archeryoutdoorsman.com, and let me know what you don't like. Let me know what what you want me to fix, because I am perfectly fine with taking constructive criticism. I try not to bring my feelings to work. So enjoy the show.
Doing. We're going to wait a few minutes to go ahead and start this live for some people to jump on. But I have an amazing individual here that I've been wanting to share with you. He's a good friend of mine, but what's so amazing that he just recently released a book called 10 Rules for Finding a Good Hunting Partner. Listen, I don't hunt, but let me tell you, the principles and the rules that he has in this book are across the board. If you're here and if you know someone that's leading a team of people that just wants to identify who those people are, you want to be on this live tonight. You want them to listen. You want to tag them in it. You want to invite them to it. If it's you're looking for a friendship, you're looking for some sort of any type of partnership in business, you want to listen to this live. My guest this evening is a good friend of mine, Aaron Smouse. Aaron, thank you so much. Yeah. Aaron has served in our military, so thank you for that. That is so amazing. And he's done a lot of crazy things, first of all.
I don't know that I would say crazy, but
you have. There's been some crazy stuff, but he's been out here empowering people to help them understand just the world that we live in. He does a lot of hunting. He does a lot of amazing things, all sorts of animals, all kinds of really great things. What I would like for you to do right now, Aaron, is just kind of share a little bit about yourself. I was going to do the full introduction, but I just want you to kind of introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are. I'm going to be introducing to some, presenting to others, and just share with us, how did you even start getting in this space? Because when I met you, I was like, what? You do what? Yeah. And it's so amazing, though, what you do.
So, well, first, I guess we should say we're here at REI, right? They were nice enough to get us in their store and do this setup and everything like that. So great for REI. And
absolutely.
If you're not if you've never been to an REI or anything like that, they've got all kinds of different classes and just a whole host of knowledge and all that kind of stuff. So definitely want to give a shout out to them.
Absolutely.
They're absolutely great
team
for having us here. And if you're wondering why we're wearing funky headsets, it's because there's going to be a podcast with this. We're doing kind of a dual thing. So
absolutely.
It'll be Nancy Empowers with the Archery Outdoorsman podcast as well. So if you don't have the good audio or anything like that, you can always go back and We've got hopefully fairly good audio quality. We'll see when this is done. But anyway, to get into my background, so I grew up in a rural town in Montana. I think there was like less than 3,000 people in the entire county.
Wow.
That I grew up in. And my grandpa was an outfitter in Montana, a high-level outfitter across the United States. Well, not full United States, western part of the United States. He was the executive vice president for the Outfitters Association and Montana Guides Association and stuff like that. So I really got immersed in hunting and the outdoors at a young age when I was in Montana. And I kind of lost that a little bit, and we can get into that. When I went into the military and stuff, and experienced everything that I experienced, I had a lot of personal things that I dealt with, and I eventually came to realize that those issues I wasn't able to experience and really quiet my mind until I was in the outdoors. So it doesn't necessarily have to be for hunting or anything like that. Really, the premise of my book, 10 Rules for Finding a Good Hunting Partner, is a metaphor for whatever it is that you're seeking.
Wonderful.
So, just quick story. So, I had, like I said, some issues and stuff like that when I came out of the military. And when I was younger, I was a fairly decent hunter and stuff like that when I was younger. And I started realizing that I was consumed with the whole idea that I had to fill a tag. I had to win, basically.
Right.
And so I'm climbing this mountain, and I'm cussing myself the whole way because I'm, one, it's a pain in the butt. Two, I've got all this stuff going on in my head, like, man, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not, I feel like a failure.
Right.
And just in one moment, I get to the top of this mountain, and I turn around and I sit down. Didn't even look at first. Turn around and sit down. All I heard was the wind and blowing through the trees and stuff, and I'm looking out, and it was just, I forgot about everything. I forgot about all the issues that I was cussing myself for.
Right.
And, it was just like I completely quieted my mind. And so it was through that little experience right there that really helped engulf me in the outdoors and want to help other people with the outdoors. So that's really where it came from. So I got back into it, after the military, and it wasn't until maybe a couple years ago that I wanted to start helping other people in the outdoors.
Right.
So, which brought me the whole premise behind the book. I brought my buddy Joseph. He'd never hunted before, like ever. I think maybe he did some small game when he was a kid, but never hunted anything big game. Never bow hunted. Never.
Wow.
Never was a backpacker or anything like that. So that's where the premise for the book came from. And one of my good hunting partners, his name's David Rains, and I can't take 100%. I can't 100% say that I came up with this all on my own. Joseph and David really helped me out a lot with coming up with the rules and stuff. So it wasn't completely on my own. We were walking through the woods, and when I brought Joseph out for a real pain in the butt hunt for his first hunt, and they, we're trying to teach Joseph, what makes a good hunting partner?
Right.
And so, we're just spitballing these rules. Well, after I got home, I was like, you know what, I'm going to write a blog about this. So I wrote a blog, shared the blog and everything, and my website traffic increased like 4,200%.
Wow, that's amazing, Aaron.
And so I was like, man, this kind of resonates with a whole bunch of people. Maybe I should do a book. And then I did a book, and it's about the length of a blog. Because I realized that I don't mince words very well. So I don't know. I guess in the book it came out the way I think. So
I want to go back to something that you mentioned just a little while ago before we start going into some of these rules, because they're absolutely phenomenal. You mentioned when you got to the top of the mountain. I want to go back to that little space where you felt like you forgot everything. You were getting ready to, you were cussing yourself out for whatever, and you kind of forgot. You were able to pay attention to the wind and basically your surroundings. So it sounds to me like someone got to a place where you grounded yourself and you found peace in the outdoors. Am I correct in that space?
Well, not only did I find peace in the outdoors, but I found peace with myself.
Oh, super.
Like I said, I hunted alone most of the time,
right.
Which a lot of people would consider to be a really crazy concept. When I was like 12 years old, I remember strapping a gun or a bow to my back, and I would ride my bicycle in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my God.
And hunt by myself. So just we got some people saying hi, and
hey.
I guess we'll answer some questions later too. But,
yes. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining. So yeah, I mean, really, I found peace with myself. If you don't have peace with yourself, then why are you doing anything that you're doing?
Oh, that's so good, Aaron. That is so good. Is it okay for us to jump into one of these rules, which is so awesome? Rule number 1 in the book is that you must be willing to work as hard and to endure the same amount of suck that person that's with you, right? And I'm going to quote something from the book really quick. It says, the best places to hunt are the ones that are the hardest to traverse. Places that are close to the road and trails tend to get hunted the most, which naturally drives the animals that we are hunting further away and harder to reach places. And the reason I chose this portion out of that, because of course I'm kind of shifting things over into the space. Why, in the sense of finding a partner, why is that so important? That person that's gonna explain the suck. What does that even mean?
So that's kind of a military term for a crappy situation.
Right.
No. Well, yeah, I guess basically it's a crappy situation, but so the way that translates, right, is so let's say you're trying to find a business partner.
Right.
Hunting in itself, we're always hunting. We're always looking for something. And whether you're looking to be successful in whatever job you're doing, whether you're looking to be successful in your business or with whatever fitness goal or your diet or whatever it is, you're always hunting.
Right.
So if you are going to have a workout partner, if you're going to have a business partner, if you're going to have a spouse or a friend or hunting partner, literal hunting partner, you want somebody that's going to deal with the same amount of crap that you're willing to deal with. And so, like I said in my book, and I can show you my health app. During 10 days, we walked 140 miles and climbed over 1,100 stories, which is the equivalent of like the Empire State Building every day.
Oh my God.
Not a whole lot of people are geared for that.
Right.
A lot of people aren't geared for 10 days in the backcountry with 2 other people.
Right.
So the same thing with business. If you think, and maybe there's some people that are just really a whole lot more lucky than I am. But with business, it's hard. You know, you grind it out. You know, it doesn't just come to you.
Right.
So if you have a business partner and you've got those long nights, you want some assurance that that business partner or that spouse
is putting in the same amount of effort.
Yeah, is putting in the same amount of effort. And Joseph actually said this best. He's actually a really, really successful guy, one of the hardest working guys that I know. He said it best. You just don't have to quit on the same day.
Wow.
You know, and,
wow.
and the same thing with your marriage. I know I'm going to be completely transparent. With mine, there's been a lot of times where I'm like, hey, get out. You know, I need a breather. You know? But, you know, and then she's like, no, I don't want to quit.
Wow.
And then, you know, same thing with me. Sometimes she's like, look, I've had about enough of you. You need to go on another hunt. And, you know, and then I'm like, no, I don't want to leave, you know.
Right.
So
you're looking in a partner, a business partner, a hunting partner, any type of partner, a friendship, a marriage. When I quoted this part of your book in terms of the hardest places it seems like you're also looking for someone that's willing to go places that the normal or the average person, I hate saying that, I like calling people average, everyone's amazing, but when everyone's on the outskirts, right, where everyone's at, you want someone that's going to
mediocrity.
Okay, so you want someone that's going to go in the trenches with you, someone that's going to go further and be fine going where no one's gone.
Well,
basically on some level.
It doesn't necessarily have to be where no one's gone, but let's say we look at it, because I'm really familiar with business.
Okay.
You know, I love business.
Right.
If you're wanting to start a business, the best businesses to start are the ones that people haven't done before.
Right.
You know, or that very few people have done before. With a relationship, you want to be with somebody who hasn't been there before.
Right.
Just joking. Completely joking. You know. No, but I mean, you want somebody with you that is willing to strive.
Right.
You know, to reach the hard things, and out of those hard moments, that's what really makes up your fortitude. You know what I mean?
Right. So
you've got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's so good.
And then it changes your level of comfortability.
That is so be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then too, you know, you mentioned you know, they have to be very driven. They have to be just as driven as you. And of course, in business, if you're partnering with someone, you want your partner. You know, we're just talking about that. So
somebody said relationships take work and willingness to be vulnerable and show your weakness.
Yes.
You need to read my book because I talk about that. My buddy Joseph had missed 2 bull elk, which if you've never hunted elk with a bow pre-rut, it is hard. And so he had 2 shots that he blew, both shots.
Wow.
And the second shot he blew was like from 15 yards, hit a branch, and it deflected. And so he was like, when we found his arrow, we thought he hit it at first.
Oh, wow.
So when we found his arrow, I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good. And he goes, I'm done.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm going back to the truck. And I'm like, no, we're going this way.
Wow.
So, you know, you've got to have somebody that's willing to push you further than you're willing to push yourself.
Right.
Or more than you think you're willing to push yourself.
That's so good. That is so good. And then, of course, you said to determine someone's drive, you must start by evaluating yourself first. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier. How do you begin to evaluate yourself in order to determine that with someone else? I mean,
so we have a saying in the military, and it's not going to be overly popular with with feminists, but it's basically testicular fortitude.
Oh, wow.
So you need to evaluate yourself. What are you comfortable with? And
Wow.
are you the kind of person that that pushes those fitness goals, those hunting goals, those ramen noodle, all that kind of stuff. Like if you're willing to suck it out, what is it Dave Ramsey says, beans to rice, rice and beans.
Right.
If you're willing to do that kind of stuff, then somebody who isn't accustomed to that and doesn't want to do that kind of stuff probably isn't the best partner for you.
Right.
So you want somebody that's willing to suffer through the same things that you're willing to suffer through. And I'm not saying that hunting or going in the outdoors or business or anything like that has to be a suffer.
Right.
You also, if you're wanting that lavish lifestyle, you're used to that lavish lifestyle and stuff like that, you probably don't want to be with somebody like me that's willing to go out and sleep on the ground, 60 days out of the year,
sleeping alone,
90 days out of the year, So that's basically what I mean by, evaluate yourself.
Right.
You have to be completely honest with yourself. We have this ego, we're all built with it.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times it keeps us from being honest with ourselves about what we are willing to endure, what we're able to do, or anything like that. And same thing with like finding our own issues. That ego sometimes just doesn't want to tell us, hey, look, I just can't do it. So you've got to have that. You got to set your ego aside and find out who you really are before you can go out and say, oh, this person is the best person for me.
Wow.
I mean, you'll find as you start discovering yourself that certain people no longer fit the mold.
Oh, that's good.
And you'll outgrow them. And
that happens.
Hopefully nobody has to go through that, but realistically, you probably will.
Right. You're kind of touching a little bit on the one that I want to talk about next, which is Rule 6. And I'm jumping around because he's got a lot of great rules, but which is must be willing to compromise. You talked a little bit about what compromise actually looks like and what people normally how they look at compromise. Can you share what you shared in the book about compromise in that aspect?
So most people think that compromise is 50-50. You get 50%, I get 50%. And that means that we only get half of what we want.
Right.
Right? But you've got to have the same goals.
Okay.
Right? So if you have the same goals, then really you're not compromising. You're both getting what you want in that goal. So it's just a different way of, I can relate it to hunting mostly because I hunt a lot. But, if I think we should go up this mountain.
Right.
Right? And you say, no, I think we should go this direction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why? Right? And you sit down and you actually talk through why you think which way is better.
Okay.
Right? Let's say you really want to go that way. Well, one or the other is going to have to compromise. But maybe when you're looking at everything all together, you're just making a big circle.
Right.
So you hit both of them. You accomplish the same goal.
Gotcha.
I went down your trail just backwards. You went down mine backwards.
Okay.
But you're still hitting the same thing. And in the end, it's about the hunt. It's about being successful in whatever your goal is.
I guess create, if the goal is the same and then there's different paths to get there, it's kind of like creating a win-win situation. It's not that you have to kind of like totally lose. It's not that you're losing. It's just finding a space, a common ground to get the thing accomplished that you both want.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is so awesome. And there was something a story you mentioned with your wife. Yeah. I want you to share and how the compromise worked in that space.
Okay, so my wife wanted these frilly little like see-through curtains, which still defeats the purpose to me. Like, it makes no sense to me why you have curtains.
They're pretty, Aaron.
Curtains are supposed to block stuff. So she wanted these pretty little lace. I don't know if they're lace, whatever.
They were see-through, though.
Yeah,
that's all you know.
Which is not really a curtain, but anyway.
Okay.
She wanted these things, and for me, I don't want people to see inside my house.
Right.
You know, I walk around naked. Nobody wants to see that. You know, so I'm like, no, we need to have curtains that you can't see through. I'm all about security. I'm all about, you know, that kind of stuff.
And she wants pretty.
Yeah, she wants pretty. I'm like, no, I'm putting my foot down.
Right.
And we got lace curtains. So, but
so how did you both win in that situation?
Compromise, though, we ended up getting the solid curtains, but we just figured out a different design to where she could have her lace curtains with my
solid
actual curtains.
Right. Anyways, okay, Aaron. So of course you both got what you both wanted. It was just, okay, I get you. You want safety. You have 2 daughters.
Yep.
Right? So, of course, you wanted that space covered. Totally get it. She just wants pretty. She's like, whatever. It's late. Their kids are in bed, whatever. But, of course, you're a father, so I totally get it. That was just such a funny story. You guys got to get the book. It's hilarious. And so, of course, it's kind of like getting into a place, because everybody, you mentioned in the book that everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to know that they matter. So go a little bit into that in terms of how that looks like in the outdoors, in the hunting space. How do you guys get, when you guys are out, you guys, of course you guys have rules, and then if you get in a space where you're trying to figure something out, what does that look like between people that are hunting in the outdoors?
So nobody wants to be around that person that's just like dragging you everywhere,
right?
And saying we're going this way, we're doing this,
right?
We're doing that. Everybody wants to feel part of a tribe.
That's so good. That's true. Very true. Very true.
So, if I'm constantly dragging you around and saying no, we're doing this, we're doing that, you're going to check out.
Right.
You don't want to be part of that. So everybody wants to be heard. Everybody's opinion matters to them or to you. Well, maybe not to you, but it matters to them.
Oh, right.
Which ultimately should matter to you.
Oh, that's good.
Just, if you're a team.
Right, absolutely.
So same thing in business. I'm sure everybody's worked with a boss.
Right.
That, for lack of a better word, that says, no, this is what we're doing. I don't really care what you say.
Right.
But you can still accomplish the same goal by changing your approach.
Right.
So that's one thing I would like to say. But,
So everyone should be valued, and definitely their opinion should be considered.
Right. So in the hunting world, if you, without getting too technical, like wind shifts during certain times of the day.
Right.
So if I think we've got enough time to go up this mountain, and you're like, we just hiked 12 miles and climbed 200 stories today, I'm not really feeling it.
Right.
You're going to be like, no, I want to take this easier trail and maybe circle around so that the wind doesn't kill us. Well, I need to listen to you just as much as you need to listen to me.
Right.
In that scenario, because what ultimately might happen is, let's say I say, okay, we're going this direction, you might get hurt because I'm not listening to you. Maybe you don't have the same fitness standards that I do, or whatever. So in the hunting realm, you know, it might be detrimental.
Right.
You know?
So it's important to listen and pay attention to that space. Rule 7 has to be okay with taking one for the team. I'm going to give you this quote out of your book, and then you just kind of talk a little bit about it. I turned around, because you're going to know where this space was at, okay? I turned around and told Joseph and Dave about the bear and waved for Joe to get in position to take the shot. I could have very easily drawn and fired and ended up with a black bear on my wall and in my freezer. So you also mentioned that you had not had the conversation about who was going to take the first shot. So you're out there, you're as a team. What was happening right here, and who's taking one for the team in this scenario?
Okay, so we
issues with rattlesnakes.
Actually, on my last hunt in New Mexico and West Texas, I almost stepped on a rattlesnake. So yes, I have had issues with rattlesnakes. But anyway, so both Joseph and I had a bear tag. It's always good to have a predator tag when you're out in those kinds of places and stuff like that. Predators need to be managed just like any other game species, but that's probably not going to win a whole lot of friends. But anyway, so we had a bear tag, and I was walking in front, and there was a bear within my range. Joseph had never killed anything. He, like I said, he was not a hunter. He'd never hunted before. So rather than me fill my tag, I was like, okay, Joseph, you come up and see if you can take the shot.
Wow.
Getting a bear with a bow is tough, especially stock and spot, or spot and stock, however you want to say it. So that's something that, giving up, because it doesn't come along every day, is, it's kind of a big thing,
Right.
But I wanted to see Joseph, fill his tag.
That is so good.
I wanted him to accomplish his goals, and in the end, I mean, it made him, like, the rest of that trip, he was hunting bear. I mean, he was
awesome.
Like, he didn't care about elk, even though we saw elk before we saw the bear. Like, the first day going in, we had 2 bulls at like 40 yards, but the season started the next day. We were just in there scouting, and the elk weren't real to him because he wasn't stalking them. He wasn't pursuing them.
Right.
But because he went after that bear, it was real to him. So every single day he was looking for bear. So he was like, "Oh, is that bear sign? Oh, So he was like, "Oh, I think there's a bear over there." And I'm like, "No, dude, that's just a burned stump."
So in this scenario, as far as taking one for the team, you stepped back to see someone on your team shine, to let them experience what you've already experienced several times,
which he
right?
missed, by the way.
But
he didn't
even get it.
He didn't miss because he didn't get a chance to take the shot. Even though it was within my range, it wasn't within his, which is completely the ethical thing to do.
Right.
So yeah, he didn't end up getting the bear.
No, but he was searching for it.
Just that pursuit though was
that's awesome.
Him on. He was just
wow. That is so awesome. So you mentioned you were talking a little bit about just also sharing the load, being willing to share the load. What does that look like in a marriage relationship, because I know we've been talking a lot of business too, in the friendship relationship, and then also in the outdoors, of course. When you share the load, what does that look like in the home?
Okay, well, I don't know what it looks like in everybody else's.
Yeah, right.
But I know with mine, so...
You know about, tell them about bear meat.
Yeah. Bear meat is delicious, by the way, and actually, not to change the subject,
no, go ahead.
but historically, people were so into bear meat in the 1800s, early 1900s, and stuff like that. That actually that's what they went after to eat before they went after buffalo.
Really?
They would render down bear fat and stuff like that, and actually they would cook with bear fat. And some people still do it today, but it was, I can't remember, I think it was Daniel Boone. Could be wrong on the person, but I want to say it was Daniel Boone. There was accounts of him killing several bears, and he provided to an actual market. For that. So yeah, bear meat is really it's less popular today just because people see them as cute, cuddly animals and stuff.
Right, they're stuffed animals,
but they taste great.
So I'm assuming that Leon Walker is wanting to do a bear hunt of some sort.
I've definitely saved animals. Actually, a lot. I don't. That's another misconception too about hunting is that we're all bloodthirsty and we just want to go out and kill stuff. But we're actually very well. The people that I deal with, and I don't want to associate really with any of the other side, are very conservationally aware. It's not about going out and just killing an animal for the sake of killing it. We process these animals, and it's all by one set of hands, or maybe you take it to a butcher.
Right.
But I am willing to bet that is a lot closer than anybody else going to a grocery store.
Right.
The number of hands that your food goes through is
interesting.
Yeah, like one pack of ground hamburger ends up being around 50 cows. And people demonize hunters and stuff like that, but we go out and we kill one deer. Like I eat a lot of elk and deer meat and hog and stuff like that. The number of those animals that I kill per year versus the number of animals that you kill just going to the grocery store is not even a comparison.
Wow.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
No, we were just talking about sharing the load.
Oh, so sharing the load. So, so I work a lot. I'll work 12-hour shifts. And I get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Right.
Every morning to go to the gym, and then I go to work right after that. And then when I come home, I spend time with the kids and stuff like that. So I don't have a whole lot of time to do laundry.
Right.
I still do a bunch of cooking just because I love to cook.
Yes, you do. He cooks.
But, my wife goes, okay, well, I'll do the laundry. I got a little more time to do the laundry. Her job affords her a lot more time than mine does. So, she'll do the laundry and stuff like that. Well, it doesn't always have to be that way. You get brought down in the mundane.
Right.
And so she, if there's days that she just can't get to laundry, I'll get to laundry. She'll disagree with you if she's on here right now. But,
but you have.
Same thing with, I have. So, points of interest.
Right.
But the same thing with, the dishes. I absolutely hate doing dishes. But I love to cook.
Right.
So she'll clean and stuff like that, or sometimes I'll do the dishes, and it's all about sharing.
Right, just kind of bringing it, I guess, into balance.
Sharing is caring.
Right. I guess to balance in that space right there, which is absolutely amazing. I'm assuming that, if schedules shift and change and you guys just kind of shift around to kind of accommodate and help one another be able to share the load, because there's two little ones that you guys also have. Rule number 9, must understand the true meaning of success. I love this because you shared that, of course, we know that the Webster definition of success is favorable or a desired outcome. In other words, we define our own success, is what you said. The question I have for you is, with you and your hunting buddies, what is success?
Okay, so
to you and your friends.
I would be lying if I said that, our goal is not going out there to bring home the bacon, so to speak.
Right.
Right. So that's our goal. Our success is being able to make it back safely,
awesome.
Not getting hurt, enjoying our experience. Come on now.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that bad out there. I don't want to scare people from the outdoors.
Look, I'm like.
I've been in some sketchy situations, but by and large, it's pretty safe out there.
Right.
But it's actually safer out there. Than
right. Yes. You're right. I believe that.
But so I think people define their own success by, like, let's say in business, you say, oh, well, I'll be successful if I make $1 million.
Right.
Well, that's not success. That's a goal.
Right.
Because your goal is ever changing.
Oh, absolutely.
Your success is, okay, I want to build a company that maybe helps people.
Right.
Is providing a good product. And,
right.
Is philanthropic, and
it's bigger
that
than
doesn't
you.
have to be. Yeah, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than that amount of money or that tag that you fill or something like that. So for me, when I go out in the outdoors, it's the idea of success is to get away from all of these thoughts and to get away from my phone and to get away from
right.
All the hustle and bustle and just realize that I don't need all that crap that I have now.
Right.
And we don't. We get so caught up in luxury, especially in the United States. I've been to several countries. And in the United States, we are so caught up in I've got to be comfortable.
Right.
But you don't have to have all that stuff to be comfortable.
Right.
And to me, the true success is finding that within myself.
Oh, that is the truth. That is exactly where it is.
And my hunting buddies are pretty much the same way. We don't fill a tag every time we go out.
Right.
And Dave actually said, if you go out hunting with the expectation that you're going to kill something every time, you're not going to be hunting for very long.
Wow.
It's a lot of miles. It's a lot of work and investment and emotionally, financially, physically. And really it's just about enjoying all that. But if you go out with the mindset that, okay, well, that's all it's about, then eventually you start losing sight of your goals too.
Right.
So you want to fill a tag. If your whole mindset is just to go through, take a walk in the woods,
right,
then go a different time of year so you're not messing up my hunt.
Right.
So, they've all got to be symbiotic.
Right.
So your goals are going to lead to your success.
That's so awesome. So it definitely has to be something that is bigger than us, for sure.
What I inherited from my mom is probably my drive.
And how do you use it? Oh, that's good.
My stepdad was gone.
Good question, man.
My real dad, I didn't really grow up around my real dad for much of my life. He was a really hard worker, and really good, caring guy and stuff like that. But I was raised mostly around my mom.
Right.
So my work ethic and my drive probably is the biggest thing that came from my mom.
Awesome.
And being hard-headed.
Did we have any other questions? Okay, biggest point. What did he say?
Biggest deer
caught. I've seen some big old deer heads on his wall. Or whatever those things were. Lord Jesus, what kind of animals? It was like a field trip.
I'm gonna answer that, but I'm gonna preface this by saying that to me, the size of the animal doesn't matter as much because I am eating everything that I do end up harvesting. But just to answer that question, biggest one I've killed I think is a 5x6. In Montana, we use 5x6. I think like most of the western states and stuff, it'll be like X by X, 2x2 or 2x. Everywhere else, they count up the total number of points. So that'd be an 11 point, I guess.
I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? I don't know what that means.
11 points on the antlers.
Right.
But I
Awesome.
don't usually get caught up too much in the size of the animal because I'm out there conservationally. We're trying to harvest the older, more mature animals that are getting ready to hit their downward cycle.
Wow.
It's about conservation. So we, those older animals, they're able to kill the younger ones, and they do. Believe it or not,
wow.
Nature is ruthless. So they are able to kill those younger animals, the more fertile and all that kind of stuff, animals, and they're on their downward slope.
Right.
So the goal is to take out the older, more mature animals so that you can leave room for the growing population.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. I want an opportunity I want to give you an opportunity to kind of just share with everyone where we can purchase your book, how we can connect with you via whatever platforms you are on, website, and what also I want you to share what things you have coming up or potential things that are coming up, if you could share with our listeners and viewers.
Excuse me. So, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Go Wild, which is a newer application. I highly recommend Go Wild. It's an outdoor application. It's got cooking, it's got fitness, it's got all kinds of stuff. It's a great application. So definitely check out the Go Wild app. They don't like to be called an app. They like to be called a platform.
Right.
They don't censor like some of the other ones.
Right.
But anyway, Instagram, Facebook, Go Wild. On
your
Go
name
Wild,
on the social media platforms is?
On Go Wild, it's Aaron Schmaus. That's SCHMAUS. And I'll put links as well in my podcast, and I'm sure you can put them on Instagram.
Yes.
But on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it's all Archery Outdoorsman.
Awesome.
And my website is archeryoutdoorsman.com. But as far as finding my book, it's available online anywhere books are sold.
Yes.
So you can go to Amazon, you can go to Barnes and Noble, whatever, and you can find it online.
Awesome.
So Leon says, do you eat wild boar? Absolutely. I love wild boar.
He just likes food. He just want to eat.
Oh, man. And actually, I'm going on a wild boar hunt in July with the same buddies that I was hunting with. And it's not uncommon for us to kill, 10 boar and stuff like that.
What? Seriously?
The meat does not last long. It is awesome meat. I mean,
wow.
and pigs are such an invasive species, and they tear everything up.
Right.
So we're doing a service by doing that. So.
Awesome. So maybe you can get Leon on a little hunt or something because he's interested in doing something, I suppose.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And also, I just wanted to give you some information. I also want to just give a shout out to REI once again for allowing us to be here. Their team is absolutely amazing. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. They do have some things coming up here at REI. It's how to hike the Appalachian Trail. They have classes. All of them are free. Oh, awesome. Wednesday, May 1st, 6:30 to 8:30 right here in Greenville, South Carolina on Woodruff Road. This is the location we are currently at. Thursday, May 9th, 6:30 to 8:30, practicing good judgment for adventures. And all the classes are free. Also, Monday, May 13th and 15th, 6 to 8 o'clock, Make-A-Wish SE Trail Challenge information meeting. And those are all also the one you said you were going to take, right? The Wilderness First Aid.
Yeah, I want to take the Wilderness First Aid
and class. That one does have a fee, and it's June 29th and 30th.
And you can find all their information on their website and stuff like that. And,
it's absolutely amazing.
And something I like to do too is talk about, one, and usually I get my information from like Sportsman Alliance or something like that because they're keeping up on all these outdoor bills and stuff like that. But if you're into the outdoors or doing things with your kids like floating a river or anything like that, this bill is so important. It's so important to get involved with this stuff. And Sportsman Alliance and backcountry hunters and anglers, they're not just about hunting, it's about the outdoors and stuff. But Bill S-47 just passed, and it has to do with public lands and public waterways and how those things are used and stuff like that. And we were talking with the ladies here at REI, and that's something that even the hikers and stuff like that, and these ladies were aware of it as well as Bill S-47. Just because it is all encompassing, it has to do with everybody. It's public land and stuff like that. If you want to go out and hike the Appalachian Trail, well, that bill has something to do with you. Right. Or, if you want to go on the Pacific North Trail or, all that.
Right.
You want to float the Grand Canyon. Well, that bill has something to do with that because it has to do with public waterways and rivers and stuff like that. Certain states, if you touch the bottom of the river and a landowner owns on both sides, you're trespassing.
Wow.
So, so they deal with all kinds of stuff like that. And, these bills have, all-encompassing results. So definitely, I would be. I just want to say I think you should really support REI, Sportsman's Alliance, backcountry hunters and anglers,
right.
For the work that they do, because there were 700 pages, I think it was, in that one bill, and they're keeping up on that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So.
We live on the planet.
Yeah.
Like I heard you say earlier, like we're not going to get any more land. Like nothing's going to just pop up out of nowhere, So definitely all the things that are happening that we need to be aware of for sure. If we love the outdoors and we love the planet that we live on for sure. Aaron, this has been so amazing. Is there anything else you want to share? Anything coming up for you?
Okay. Yeah. So if you start following me and stuff like that, I've got some really exciting things. I can't mention at the moment exactly what it is that I'm going to be giving away, but it is something of value, and it's actually a pretty decent value. And it's really cool working with some new partners and stuff like that. So definitely follow along. I'll, give copies of my book away every now and then, and, some other gifts and all kinds of stuff like that. So definitely follow along.
Awesome. And for the first two people that can direct message me and tag somebody in this and then see and tag him and tag me in the post as well. I will make sure that you get an autographed copy by Aaron, and I'll have that sent to you. I appreciate you guys being a part of what we did here tonight, Aaron. It was absolutely amazing. Listen, you guys need to get his book. Like, we kind of went into it, but like it's an easy read. When I tell you it's an easy read, you want to hand this to your coworkers. You want to hand it to someone that's having issues in a relationship. I promise you, when I started reading it, I was thinking, well, first when he told me what what it was, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to get through it, right? The way that I read and the way that I think, anyway, the way I process things, I probably was gonna get some stuff out of it anyway because of what I do. But for anyone that thinks that this is not for you, I promise you, you will get something out of this book. And I know that it's going to bless you. I know that you're going to be able to get these 10 rules. You're going to be able to apply them to where you are right now, what you're trying to create with your loved one, what you're trying to create with a friendship or in a partnership or hunting out in the wild. I mean, oh my gosh, I'm not your hunting partner, okay? Because that 140 miles and how many, what you said?
It was over 1,100 stories. Yeah. But yeah, so just so you guys can follow along and stuff and tag us in the right places and stuff, my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube handle is Archery Outdoorsman. Nancy's Instagram, obviously, is Nancy_empowers. And for Go Wild, my last name, I'll spell out my name, AARONSCHMAUS. So, so definitely follow along and tag us, and we'll get you a copy of the book.
Which is a little fancy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You won't be able to read my doctor's signature.
Right. So thank you so much for everyone that joined us tonight. Thank you for all the great questions, man. You're gonna have to go on a hunt with him, okay? What do you say?
Yeah. Hey, that would be great. Actually, we could work that out.
Spell his last name again. SANSCHMAUS.
Yep.
Right here. Look, it's about but anyway, I'll get that to you. I think he really does have a teacher.
Okay. Yeah. We'll work it out. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of it, being a part of Nancy Empowers. I have a great guest for you next month. It's going to be absolutely amazing. You definitely want to listen to his podcast. He's got a lot of great things going on. If you know someone that loves to hunt, you know those people that are out there and love to just be in the wild, be in the wilderness, just get grounded with who they are within themselves, peace within themselves, and be able to be in our surroundings. We are in a beautiful world. Listen, you need to get out this summer, okay? Let's not stay in the house. Get off of your phones like we're doing right now on our social media, and let's get outside. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for joining us this evening. Again, Aaron, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, and we will see you next time.
And I will say, too, that I don't just talk about hunting and the outdoors. I also show a lot of food porn.
Oh my God, this joke is cooked.
So you'll see recipes and like
amazing,
good looking food and stuff. So
awesome, cool deal. We look forward to connecting with you guys once again. You'll definitely see him again because of course there's a lot of topics we can really cover today. We kind of talked a little bit about stuff, but he's got so much in him. He's an absolutely amazing individual. Go get his book. I appreciate you tonight. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you.